All right, welcome. As the Drive with Q just went off here, he was on from 4 to 6 p.m. Don't forget, tomorrow is the radio-only version of the Drive with Q. That will be from 5 to 6 p.m., and then he will be back in the saddle, as he always says, on Wednesday, video version of it from 4 to 6 p.m. Joining us a little bit later on this evening will be our newest host on, the network. Isaias Young with Young Life Radio Show will be on with us, I would say probably a little bit after the 6:30 hour. Join myself and Beav here on the network. So we'll have fun with him as well. But as we start off, don't forget, you guys can always text or call the show at 727-858-6650, 727-858-6650. And you can always make your comments live here on the social medias, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Kicks, Rumble, LinkedIn, good Lord, anywhere and everywhere. Basically, you can get somewhere on a streaming platform is where we are, especially because we love Twitter the most. Just saying, I know a lot of people don't like it, but guess what? Even I do.
There you go, baby.
Yep, and we appreciate everything that Elon Musk does, whether you like him or not. He just made everything better on Twitter. So with that being said, it is Black Monday, and I'm really surprised, Beav, really surprised that we've only seen basically two coaches in a DC being canned for the moment. So I swore there would have been at least 4, if not 5 different openings, but you figured the Patriots decided to not even. Okay, let me start off with this one. Why in the world would you even allow him to do the press conference? And you can just tell, like, he was like just done. I think he was more just done with the season and not thinking that he was going to be done with the Patriots. But, it was funny. He was like, well, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. No, you're not, because you're going to be here tomorrow. But at the same time, why did the Patriots, out of all things that the Patriots have never done, decided, well, you know what? We decided right at 5:59, hypothetically saying it because it wasn't a time, but at 5:59 on a Sunday, goodbye, Gerard Mayo. See you later.
Well, do you want to hear one of my theories?
Sure.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to win that game, and he's being punished. He was going to get fired today, sped up his process. So he wasn't supposed to win that game yesterday, and he disobeyed orders, and he did. But if you listen to Bob Kraft, he said today he had no interaction regarding what was going to happen yesterday. That's reason 10,735 that Bob Kraft should sell the team. But yeah, he actually said at his press conference today that he had no communication with Gerard about the first pick in the draft.
See,
you wonder why the Patriots are where they are? There's a really good example. I won't even bring up running off the greatest quarterback and coach ever in the history of the league. That's one of their minor sins now.
Right.
But not going over what to do yesterday to assure the future of the franchise. Instead, hey, let's be heroes. Put Joe Milton out there, who they'll probably trade for like a 7th-round draft pick now. Watch. And just, it's why they are where they are. They're approaching Jets territory right now. That's how stupid they are. And to go along with what you were saying earlier about there's only been 2 coaches canned. You had some firings in the middle of the year. Everybody knew about Jacksonville. Lou Amaro getting dusted by the Bengals is more about somebody has to be fired for them having such ridiculous statistics yet having a bad record. The guy's a good coach.
Right.
I don't know if you saw Ryan Grubb got fired, the Seattle offensive coordinator.
Yep.
And they have good players too. That's like Lou Amaro. So, but hey, life in the big city, Angels. There's going to be some people out there tonight who get killed in car accidents and other things like that. It's just the way the world is. A fair is a place you go to get cotton candy and ride rides. It's not life, baby.
Well, that's a good point, or at least a great analogy for that one. But I'm really surprised though. One thing is, it's different, and I guess maybe I don't know, maybe because a lot of it were old school, maybe a lot of it were just kind of foolish. I don't know, one or the other. But you would just think that if you're going to let somebody go, wait until Monday. Now, obviously, they couldn't wait for Dougie P to be let go, but in the end, Dougie P was going to be walking back anyways. He basically wrote out his contract because Shad Khan said he was not going to pay someone for sitting at home, so he kept him until the end of the year. Now, Does that mean that Dougie P will have another job somewhere else? I don't know. And if he is, do they bring him in as a, I don't know, offensive mindset? Because defensively, not that great. But do you bring it, or you bring him in as a QB coach? I don't know. But I think Dougie P is going to be probably, I wouldn't think for next season he would be back. And, just again, in my opinion. But then it makes it interesting to see who do you believe would be the best fit in Jacksonville and take off Mike Vrabel? Just take him off for the moment. Who would be the next best person in line for Jacksonville?
Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn, either one of the two. Particularly, I mean, I think Aaron Glenn put on a show last night, considering the the shopping cart crew of Meyer are part of his defense right now. So I mean, they're literally signing dudes off the street. Ben Johnson is going to interview with the Patriots. He's going to interview with the Patriots and the Bears, per sources. That's one of the ones out there.
With the Bears?
Yep. He wants the Bears job because he thinks Caleb Williams is good. Supposedly Ben Johnson does. Ben Johnson is only going to interview with teams where he knows the quarterback's going to be there. So quarterbacks who he thinks are good on rookie deals. Remember, Caleb Williams played pretty well in both games against the Lions.
Correct.
And everybody knows how good Drake May is, but Drake May's got to overcome the stumbling idiots known as the Crafts that run the Patriots.
Well, I mean, I think for sure, unless, and again, we have a long ways to go before that happens, but I think definitely for sure, if you're looking at the Detroit's going to be, I think, split up just like when the Eagles were in 2017, when they won it in February of 2018. And all of a sudden, everybody just went everywhere because that's what you do. You pick up, the great Cowboys.
Yeah, a bunch of free agents on that team. Yeah, it's 17-18 team. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Ninja, why do you keep bringing that up?
Listen. What else? I got to bring it up. It's the only one that we have, and that's the one that we're going to talk about forever. So,
thanks, Bill. Good job. Yeah, hey, Malcolm Butler's over here being a hood ornament. No, every team is different. I think this Chiefs team is going to have some major changes, regardless of what they do, whether they win or lose. I think there's a good chance Kelsey retires, and other things like that. So, and hi, Rick, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. Good to have Deborah here. She's always here. So there you go.
Indeed.
Never have enough pretty ladies around. That's what somebody once told me. But no, I think there's no. I mean, listen. I mean, I'll put it out there because he's got some connections in the Tampa area. John Gruden's name's out there too, but he's kind of in a lawsuit with the league. And there's I like Robert Saleh as a defensive coach. You'd have to look at Pete Carroll.
Right.
Pete Carroll's interesting. Would Belichick dump North Carolina if you called him? There's a whole bunch of things going on, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know what there's no big, honestly, you're going to do with NFL guys. I like Ron Rivera, Rick. I like Ron Rivera too. No, I mean, I a couple of these college guys, Lincoln Riley's one. Sarkisian's another one. We'll see. No, the Ryan Grubb being fired is interesting because he's Kellen DeBar's offensive guy. That was the Washington coach who was at Alabama this year. He's been at Fresno and a whole bunch of other smaller jobs. He's won everywhere he's been. And Grubb's been his OC forever. So it's like a Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick thing back in the day. So, I mean, we'll see. But don't know what to tell you. There's no really big things out there besides Vrabel. And Vrabel clearly used the Jets to get done what he did. So we'll see. But, who knows? Who knows what to tell you? It's early in the stage also. And always, Angel, there's almost always one shocking, retiring, firing, maybe somebody like Andy Reid retires. Maybe God in heaven answers your prayers and removes Sirianni. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? I think the Lions coach is fairly secure, though.
Oh, yeah, he's not going anywhere. Although it's been known, I
Jerry
guess.
Jones would like to hand him a bunch of money, but he ain't getting there.
No way, no friggin' way. I would
No, I mean
boycott.
that's my point. He's not going to leave the Lions ain't going to let him go.
Yeah,
No,
of course not.
and he
Plus,
loves it here. He's the mayor. He's the new mayor of Detroit.
I would boycott the Lions forever if that was the case. But I know it's never going to happen. But they also talked about the Bears are asking too about talking to Mike McCarthy, which supposedly someone had mentioned too that they thought that McCarthy would be a good fit over there with the Bears.
I do
Which
too. I actually think that is a good idea.
so then now what make it more intriguing is if Jerry Jones decides to say, "Well, Mike, go ahead, go talk to him," and then you let him go in the process while he's
Or
on his
there's
way to
another
Chicago.
thing he could charge them with tampering.
Could it could, but let's say they wait until the end of the season and they
Mhm.
decide, all right, you know what, that's it. Well,
Well, I
the
mean, the
official
funny thing is both teams are done, so it's not like they're both playing. This isn't the Lions and the Bills playing in the playoffs. They're both been, out of the playoffs.
Dallas was eliminated. The time that Dak Prescott came on and says, now that I got paid, we're going to win the Super Bowl. That's when Dallas was done. That was the third week in the regular season. You're welcome, Cowboys. You're welcome. That's what you guys get. Again, I was all for him getting paid the first time around.
Mm.
You guys look ridiculous. You paid him again on top of, I mentioned this on my morning show. How do you make a statement? You don't show up. In Jerry's world, that $1 billion stadium has paid itself over tenfold. Why?
Sure.
Because Dallas fans are delusional fans when they think they're going to win the Super Bowl. And the VCR is still not the latest in technology there, Dallas Cowboys fans, but keep believing. Polish off that VCR tape, lift it up the flap, put it in, hit play. Let me know how it works out for you. I can talk about the smack I want to at this point, only because I said that I don't believe that my Eagles are going to the Super Bowl, but the season's not over yet. We'll see what happens next week at the wild card. But Dallas fans, maybe Mike, again, Jerry Jones could probably tell him, go ahead and go do the interview. But you guys, pardon me, I don't understand. You want change, but you guys are like Yankee fans. You go there, you pay all this money, and you get the same result. Nada. And you lose going into the offseason with what? Hang your head down low, look at AT&T Stadium and saying, if only it were 1985 again. Or maybe you invite Aaron Rodgers over there and he does his one little goofy seance and says, listen, I'm practicing gratitude, Irving, Texas, and I'm here if you guys need me. I am supportive. It's been the best 2 years of my life in New York. And where's Pam Oliver? I need to give her a hug and tell her I love her all over. I need to do that. That's what I need to do. I am Aaron Rodgers,
The
the
Pam
best.
Oliver stuff was awesome.
it's
You know what? In a strange and perverse way, I'm gonna miss Aaron Rodgers if he's not around. Well, for a couple of things, I like watching my teams kick his ass, which is fun. But the other part is he's just hilarious. He's just oblivious. He's on planet Aaron. He's on his own little world. You cannot have that type of guy around your team. And the Jets have learned this the hard way. So,
They sure
but
have.
yeah, but I mean the Jets have learned many things the hard way. I
Yeah.
mean it is pretty damn funny. Yes, Deborah's getting great joy out of your Aaron impressions. No, the McCarthy thing is very interesting
Yes.
because I would assume he makes pretty good money, and Jerry doesn't like to spend money.
Rick
We'll
says,
see.
don't you guys think that Jones saying all those positive things about McCarthy is all BS since he hasn't committed to saying he's here to stay? No, everybody knows that. That's nothing new, Rick. And we already know how Jerry Jones operates, which is just delusional, along with the rest of the Dallas fans. But he's going to say that. To me, I thought that McCarthy should have gone last year. Now, granted, of course, there were a lot of injuries to the Cowboys, both sides of the ball. So I understand that. But again, you're going to bring back Dak Prescott. You got that goofy Zeke Elliott, who's done absolutely nothing. That at this point,
They're not going to bring him back. His contract's up. He's gone. And they
no.
cut him. They cut him and they suspended him. He's being a pain in the ass during the year. And
Okay.
they got the Dillwaddle kid's good, and they'll probably draft him back.
They can draft all they want to. that team will
Well, they
not.
drafted Pollard and let him go, and now look how good a year he had on Tennessee. So,
Right.
I mean,
You
they're
got
just a
to
dumb team. There's no plan on what they do.
no. Plus, you got to figure at this point, you got to shop CeeDee Lamb, get something out of him. You're going to have to, or Mika
He was
Parsons.
getting ready to quit on their team at the end of the year if you were paying attention, like Tyreek Hill did yesterday, privately and publicly.
Yeah.
If you see what's going on. And that's the thing. When you pay a guy like that, I talked about this, in August with Ayuk on the 49ers. It was stupid to pay him. As flawed as the Bengals are, they mismanaged both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and now pissed Joe Burrow off, so that's not good. But you have to manage your money and your cap situation. When you tag a guy, you either have to pay him long term or trade him. The Bengals did neither with T. Higgins.
Yep.
And to magnify things worse, these idiots in the Bengals probably said, you know what? T. Higgins is in a contract year. He'll probably split stats with Jamar, and they'll both be devalued. Wrong answer, private. Jamar Chase won the Triple Crown, so his contract was here. His contract is now here above my bald ass. T. Higgins also had a really good year and he made it through the year mostly healthy. He's now going to be the top free agent wide receiver on the market. So the Bengals lost, and not only they lost, they went 9-8 somehow with that team. They had the leading receiver, the leading passer, and the leading sack guy in the league, and they're not in the playoffs because they weren't trained or prepared properly because all the holdouts the first week of the season, and they lost to the Mickey Mouse New England Patriots team, who won 3 games. That's why the Bengals are sitting around praying for the Denver Broncos to lose when the Chiefs don't need to play the game and deliberately laid down to get you eliminated from the playoffs. Because that is a playoff team, the Bengals. They just were stupid. And they're not a serious organization and serious about winning. Just
Nope.
stupid.
They're not. And on top of it, they keep year after year, you start out with slow starts. You start out the way you do it. Whatever.
Usually there's guys holding out or something.
Yep.
They're dicking around with somebody.
Yeah. Or you have Joey Burrow decides he wants to be Eminem at the beginning of the season, which again, what did that prove? Absolutely nothing. But again, it's Joey Burrow. He talked all the trash he wanted to, but in the end, you guys are golfing like other teams, hence the Cowboys. Mickey says, Angel, I have KC and the Eagles. Mickey,
You're going to be 0 for 2.
yeah, because okay. Looking at it right now, who do you think knocks off KC? Nobody?
Let me think. Okay, I'm going to call my shot. The Detroit Lions. Super Bowl.
So you would have
Lions get them in the Super Bowl.
Okay. Now I can see that. I don't think anybody's stopping Detroit. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't think anybody's stopping Detroit.
Amazing how that narrative changed in 24 hours. Did something important happen last night?
Well, I'm also been the advocate that I said that my
By the
boys.
way, did you notice something, Mr. Angel? That the Lions had an interesting assistant D-line coach yesterday at the game. About 6'7" blonde guy who was roaming around with the defense, warming up, and was on the sideline pretty animated. A guy who supposedly was going to have his leg sawed off about 3 months ago, and he broke his leg 3 ways. And he was moving around pretty good. He looked like, wow, maybe if he was playing a game in, say, 3 to 4 weeks, he might be able to suit up and, be a pretty good player. That Hutchinson guy?
Oh, really?
He looked pretty good out there. And by the way, what's the weakness of the Kansas City team? Oh, their tackles. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Just saying. But I don't trust any of these AFC teams, particularly Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen had them beat the 13-second game a couple of years ago, but that team, I don't trust Sean McDermott. It's not that I don't trust Lamar Jackson. It's that I don't trust Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh together. I do. I would have liked the Bengals, but they were too busy saving money. Could the other Harbaugh do it? I don't know. The Texans aren't good. The Steelers aren't good. But we'll see. But I do not think the Chiefs will repeat. And I mean, what's the reports on Hurts right now? How close is he to playing with the
Uh,
concussion situation?
as close as I'm getting ready to go in at the moment. So he's going through the protocols still. That's all they want to keep
Mhm.
saying. If anything would be said, would be on Thursday. If
Yep.
that's the case, if they decided they want to let him go and go ahead. Now, here's again what I'm thinking. Again, just throwing the hypos out there. You have Tanner McKee, who's been doing well. You have Kenny Pickett, obviously, who's banged up.
But he's got busted ribs. Yeah.
You also have Green Bay right now that Jordan Love and the backup are also both banged up, which there's
Well,
a
Jordan
strong,
Love had the funny bone thing. It didn't look serious. And Malik Willis got hurt in the game. Yeah.
yeah. But it just because it doesn't look serious, it doesn't mean because he's been nursing some other injury throughout the season as well, other
He's
than the one
always
in
hurt.
Brazil.
He's always hurt.
Yep. But I
And
think
Christian Watson tore his ACL. So
I would think if they decide, if the Eagles feel they have a great chance with Tanner McKee to beat Green Bay to move on to the divisional round, I would say they would probably lead. Listen, I'm just funnier things have
imagine if
happened.
they did that.
But if they decide they want to keep Jalen healthy because
Yeah.
they have a feeling, again, I'm giving Nick Sirianni this much, okay, that much, which truthfully usually I give him about that much, but I'm giving them this much when they feel that if they can go ahead and beat Green Bay at home, then they bring back Jalen on the division round. Now, I didn't think the injury he had was that bad. I knew initially, obviously, when he got up, he looked like he was a bobblehead because he had no idea where he was, even though he gave him, the thumbs up. But
Yeah.
if he's still not feeling well and the Eagles feel like they need to really rest over for him, then you better have a really good plan for Tanner McKee, then Kenny Pickett, because he's not going to be ready anyways, because obviously you're playing every week at this point leading up into the Super Bowl. But you bring in Tanner McKee, get a game plan going for him. He's got enough weapons that are healthy right now that he can do so to beat Green Bay. Problem is, of course, the Eagles secondary at times has moments where they can't tackle a pole that's lying on the ground, which is pretty bad. So we're hoping that that's not being the case. But to get to a couple of comments here before kind of keep moving on, as Rick said that looking at last night's game, the Vikings looked like frauds. They were exposed. The Vikings were super exposed last night. Mickey says Angel and Jay were both high. No, Mickey, listen, you're talking about right now, Kansas City, when you look at it, KC, if Andy Reid is looking, he wants to be the only coach to ever win back-to-back Super Bowls. We also saw when he juiced up Patrick Mahomes when he got hurt against the Eagles, ended up coming back. So, and everybody keeps saying about the whole thing that the refs are for Kansas City. So we're not high. The Eagles have to prove a lot to get there and win their second title.
Who
Duncan
just
Dad,
asked
though,
for a
says,
high? Who I just asked for a high? Who said that?
Mickey. Yeah.
I mean, have you watched these teams lately? The Eagles, and I mean every other week, Angel wants the head coach tarred and feathered, and he loves this team. I mean, you really think they would beat the Buccaneers and some of these other teams, Baker Mayfield and friends? I
That's
mean,
very
really.
good.
I mean, and the Chiefs, they you want to talk about the Vikings being exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go over the problem with the Vikings, okay? There wasn't the Vikings being exposed. They're a team that relies on big plays. So that comes from turnovers by your defense and explosives from your offense. Well, the Lions, they turned the ball over twice. One was like a glorified punt where Goff threw the ball like 60 yards in the air, got deflected, picked off. The other one was a blown up type of screen play in the flat, little tip ball. They held up. They held up and controlled Justin Jefferson. That's the energy. It's like Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls, Jordan dunking. It feeds the energies. Dunks and threes are what the Vikings are. They don't do little things well on offense. Defense, it's a lot of pressure, blitzes, which the Lions picked up and Goff did a good job. So that's what the Lions took away. So one of my favorite sayings is make somebody play left-handed, make them be uncomfortable. That's what the Lions did. The Chiefs all year have had a lot of blocked field goals. This happened, that happened, this happened. They're not a dominant team. This isn't the '07 Patriots, and please don't give me this. Oh, they've won before. Well, what has Xavier Worthy won before? What has Joe Thuney won at left tackle before? Never. Nothing. Nada. So their team, that's great. Mahomes is great. Mahomes didn't even make the fucking Pro Bowl. That's how good a year he's had. Okay? Isaiah Pacheco's been hurt all year. Travis Kelce's ready to go on tour with Taylor Swift.
Yep.
Their team is what they are. They're cool. But to think they're this dominant, oh my God, the greatest team I've ever seen. No. I mean, and listen, they embarrassed themselves in the NFL yesterday. Let me tell you something. That pissed me off what they did. Laying down. When teams are playing in this league to make the playoffs, you put out a presentable product and team out there and try to play. You mean to tell me with Carson Wentz, they couldn't go out there and put on a friggin' performance that was acceptable for the NFL? Let me tell you a story about a team that did show up and play hard in a game that meant nothing. You ever hear the 2007 New York Giants? They were playing a team that was 15-0 in week 16 called the New England Patriots. They went out and played their asses off, made the Patriots compete, ended up losing by a touchdown. Funny thing happened to that team. Angel, what happened to the '07 New York Giants? Did they see that Patriots team again?
They sure did.
How'd that turn out in the rematch?
Giants, I
You know,
believe.
it's almost like the Giants learned something from game one and applied it and helped them win. You have enough opportunities in the NFL. You don't get every opportunity. If you have guys that are legitimately injured, you sit them out. But if you have an opportunity to go out and play, you play. There's a million guys, Kurt Warner, Tom Brady, Brett Favre, who won jobs, Brock Purdy, who won jobs because guys got injured and they came in and won a job. Look at Sam Darnold. Imagine if he sat on his couch and ate bonbons all year. Oh, you got J.J. McCarthy coming in. I'm never going to play. Well, strange things, funny. Baker Mayfield's another one, by the way. He was cast off by 3 teams who are all morons, by the way. But I mean, you never know what's going to happen in these games. There's an opportunity. Somebody's watching the tape, and you got to go out there and perform and play. One man's gold's another man's garbage, and vice versa. So just remember that. And there's always somebody out there. You know, Steve Young was this undisciplined run-around guy on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He went to Bill Walsh and the 49ers, and things kind of worked out.
Well, I'm going
to look at Foles, not Rick. I don't want to look at McFoles. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Hold on, I didn't get that far down there yet.
But another name for Foles, but yeah.
Yeah. Duncan Ned said the Lions aren't going to win the NFC. Eagles will dominate them. Their O-line is trash. If Minnesota can get to golf, Philly will feast. Listen, and Duncan Dad, you know I love you. There comes a point in time. I would love to say that the Eagles have a feast way towards the Lions. I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. Eagles play well. I'm not convinced week after week after week that they're going to end up showing up. Now, they played the Giants yesterday.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think the Lions aren't going to win the NFC? Have you watched games from the entire season, from game 1 to game now? Who's been the best team in the NFC? You know, there's a reason why they play these games and they have W's and L's next to teams' names. That's how this works. So what makes you think the Lions don't have a good team? I mean, honestly, I'm not a gambler projector, but please explain to me how the Lions aren't a good team. Did you watch the game last night? And by the way, did the Eagles beat the Vikings when they played them? Angel, do you have an answer for that?
For which one?
Did the Eagles and Vikings play?
This year?
Yeah.
That I can recall?
Well, I mean, who beat the Vikings before last night? Who are the teams that beat the Vikings? There were 2 teams before last night.
Oh, boy.
If Goff gets rattled, they lose. No shit. Every fucking quarterback in the NFL is like that. See this guy over here? How did you beat him? Hit him. That makes Jared Goff special. I don't even like Jared Goff. But please, after last night, you're not sold on the Lions? Name me the guy that was covering Justin Jefferson all night. Do you know who he is? It's not exactly Deion Sanders. There's a reason why they got the coach of the year, who should have been the coach of the year the last 3 years, by the way, Dan Campbell.
Right.
And then the two coordinators who are trying to be hired by half the teams in the league. So I guess the rest of the NFL is idiots, and they just think the Lions are morons. This was the worst organization in the NFL, a septic fucking tank before Dan Campbell came here. Okay? Play old school football like the guy who just won at Michigan and just playing good ball. Yeah, the Eagles are playing great. They don't know who their fucking quarterback is. And he's got a concussion. Is that a good thing? How come everybody talks about, oh, Tua, if he gets hit again, he's going to be an invalid? What's going to happen to Hurts if he gets hit again? Hello?
Yeah.
Angel, you think that's a good thing that your quarterback has concussion problems?
No. It's
okay.
Right. It's not even a problem.
He's on a team that has a great offensive line and Saquon Barkley, and he's getting knocked unconscious. That's not good. It's not like he's Joe Burrow, who's getting hit, more than the eggs at Denny's every night playing for the friggin' Bengals. I mean, really. Well, go watch Caleb Williams, what he puts up with every night. I can't believe what he puts up with being chased around.
Correct.
He's being chased around more than a hooker in Las Vegas. So, I mean, it's like, I don't know what to say. Hurts will play. Good, Rick. Rick, I don't see MD next to your name. How do you know if he's going to play? Here, there you go, Duncan. Good job. Hand the ball to Saquon. See, you're learning.
Says Goff isn't as good as Hurts. And listen,
Goff isn't as good as Hurts. Can we? Okay. Angel, let's talk about the Pro Bowl again. Who made the Pro Bowl? Who's the starting quarterback in the NFC in the Pro Bowl?
Jared Goff.
You people are making me defend Jared Goff, who I don't like. But continue. Okay. So where was Jalen Hurts in the Pro Bowl team? Was he there?
Not that I remember.
Okay, I'm just checking. The NFC is so loaded at quarterback. I don't believe Baker Mayfield made it, and I can make a point that he's the MVP of the league. I believe it was Goff, Jaden Daniels, and somebody else. Who was the other guy?
For Pro Bowl?
Who's the other quarterback? Oh, did Sam Darnold make it? Who are the three Pro Bowl quarterbacks from the NFC?
Crap.
Goff.
It might have been Sam Darnold.
I think it's Goff, Sam Darnold, and Jaden Daniels. Because Stafford stinks, and he doesn't stink. Rick, what's your favorite team? I can guarantee you, Matthew Stafford's probably better than your quarterback. And by the way, you come be the quarterback of the Detroit Lions for 10 years and see how happy you'd be. The minute he left here, he won the Super Bowl. That might tell you something.
Rick's an Eagles fan.
Okay. So he's got as many Super Bowls Matthew Stafford does on a real team in about 3 years, and the Eagles do in 60. Next question. Sorry, Angel, I got to dump on somebody. One of your Eagles fans.
No, at the end of the day.
Right now, let me ask you. No, Angel, let me ask you a question. Would you take Matthew Stafford over Jalen Hurts right now?
If I'm
that team with those receivers.
And how is Matthew's in his 30s now, mid 30s? So he's still
he's very old for his age. He's gotten his ass kicked, but so's your guy, unfortunately.
Yeah, if I'm comparing Matthew Stafford to Jalen Hurts, the bigger difference is that Jalen Hurts for some reason just like to make plays that are not there. He also likes to hang on to the ball just a bit too long, where Matthew Stafford might release that ball just a little bit quicker than obviously what Jalen Hurts does. Boy, the comments tonight, they're coming in hot and heavy. But at this point, Jalen, he got his bell rung. He's under concussion protocol. As Mickey says, he would take Hurts. But my thing is that it's for the way the Eagles have been playing this
Rick,
season.
Time out.
Sure.
Rick, Jalen Hurts has had injury problems like Tua going back to college. Research it and look it up.
Yeah, he did. He got banged up
This
in college.
isn't. They both of them had a lot of injuries in college. By the way, that's why they platooned. Don't talk about this guy like he's John Elway, where he never misses games. I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, please. I mean, these guys get hurt. Who's this quarter? Who's Duncan Dad's QB? Who?
That's what he's talking about. That's my quarterback. When T.O. said, that's my quarterback, and he cried about it. That's what he's talking about. His quarterback is
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
I mean, anytime you can bring up T.O. Yeah, one concussion, yeah, that can get you into trouble. Really, it can. One
No, it
concussion
can.
can get you into trouble. As Tua,
Yeah,
you
no,
get the
one.
wrong type of concussion. There's plenty of guys who've had. There's a lot of hockey players specifically, and other guys in sports that have had one concussion and they can't recover. It depends on how bad it is. Anything head related injuries is bad. Somebody once told me that, who's got an MD next to their name.
Mickey says it.
Yeah, knees are good things to have injuries in quarterbacks too, huh?
Well, look
Hey,
at
what was
Flowers.
the one year Tom Brady missed an entire season? Oh, that's right, he got his knee fucking taken out.
You had Flowers yesterday from the Ravens on a cold day to say he's got his knee banged up. But
Yeah,
that's just the way. That's
Jay
just the way it
Flannelly.
is.
Yeah, Jay Flannelly. Now, have they said what it is? Or because they have the MRI and stuff, so he's probably if they haven't said he's got like an ACL like they did with Christian Watson, it's probably a soft tissue injury, which could be 4, 6, 8 weeks, whatever the hell it is. Or he could have a hamstring. I mean, everybody's different.
Wait, as soon as I pop up one comment, another one comes flying in. As Rick said, Tua had how many? But now
Hey,
Tua,
Mickey. By the way, the reason why Jay looks like he wants to hit somebody. I'm tired of being from New England and having that team run into the toilet by those two morons who run the team after my buddy and the former coach and Bill Parcells saved their asses for 30 years. And now these morons could screw up white fucking toast. That's what I'm upset about. So I'm sorry. Have a nice day. I'm becoming like Angel when the Patriots being run into the ground by stupidity. They screw up firing a guy who Stevie Wonder should see they had to fire. Guy was screwing up press conferences, and he
yeah,
screwed up yesterday. It cost him three picks in the draft.
sure did.
All he had to do was one job: show up and lose the fucking game, and he couldn't even do that right.
Sure did. It just, but again, so the Patriots though were set. Apparently, 2 years before they were going to let go of Belichick, that was written in his contract that he was going to be the next one to take over. And again,
And,
I was surprised.
again. Oh, sorry, Angel. I'm reading these comments.
Sure.
Rick, on no planet did anybody who was a serious NFL evaluator will tell you that Jalen Hurts is a better player than Jared Goff. Pure throwing, it's not even in the same realm. And Hurts can run around and do all this dink and dunk stuff and run around and do the RPOs and stuff. That stuff's not sustainable in the NFL. You want to. That's why they don't do it. Is Michael Vick still playing in the NFL? Angel?
Nope.
Is Donovan McNabb? I mean, Donovan McNabb didn't age well, did he?
No.
How about my buddy Steve McNair? He get broken in half.
Yep.
And which church is Tim Tebow preaching at this week?
I don't know. That's a good
Hey,
question.
wait a minute. Did I see Cam Newton on TV this weekend being a broadcaster? Is he 40 years old or is he like 35? Cam Newton.
Cam Newton, I think he's 35.
Yeah. And does he look real healthy or is he walking around real funny?
Oh no, he's healthy.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, seriously. And
He
you're
looks
comparing
good.
Tua. Tua had one awful concussion. Let's go over Tua, where he had the seizure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, every time he gets hit in the head, it's a problem. So that's what I'm talking about. I don't think Alex Smith broke his leg 17 times, but guess what? He broke it once really bad on national television, like Joe Theismann, and then became a serious problem. So that's what happens when you have a guy have a major catastrophic injury. I don't think Dale Earnhardt Sr. was in a lot of car accidents, Angel, until guess what? He and his car hit a wall and it fucking killed him. So you know what? It's just the way it is.
Yep.
Every one of these guys, I hate to tell you this, when you put on the game Saturday, we have 2 games in the wild card weekend. Every one of these guys, every time they take the field, has the potential to snap their spine. That's reality. That's the reality of what this is. That's why when you see a guy hold out and complain about money or this and that and being dicked over like the Cooper Cup, not Cooper Cup, Cooper Rush on the Cowboys is screwed over 600 grand because he had an incentive clause. That's why the Cowboys played Trey Lance. They played him to save a 600 grand incentive in Cooper Rush's contract. And then you have a team like the Bucks. There's a reason why they win and attract players. They got Mike Evans a $3 million bonus, putting him in the game with 30 seconds left and throwing the ball to get him 5 yards. That's the way the world is. These guys, every time they go out there, they can snap their spine. Okay? That's the reality of what this is. How you doing, Angel? You having a nice day?
Yeah, I'm doing quite well. That's for daggone sure. Although once again the temperatures may end up dropping here extremely tonight. But Mickey says it looks like Pete Carroll wants to interview with the Pats. Where did that come from?
Does Mickey realize that Bob Kraft's first official coaching hire was Pete Carroll, and his first coaching fire was Pete Carroll?
Right.
And Pete Carroll leaked that the Crafts were cheap and were feeding like the Patriots finger food in the last year or so. That story's come out. So that's not going to happen.
But I wouldn't think it would happen in the first
place. A better chance of hiring Bill Belichick back than Pete Carroll.
Oh, and speaking about hiring and firing, by the way, Rex Ryan apparently stated that if he ends up being the head coach, and for some reason he feels like the job is his. I don't think it is, but he says, you guys are freaking tearing me up here.
What'd I do now?
No, he says that he loves you, but then what's Deborah say? Ouch, Rick. Z, all it takes one ego to carry golf away. Arg. But no, you have Rex Ryan that's saying that he feels like the job's going to be his. Then he also says that if they bring back Aaron Rodgers, they'll get rid of that country club mentality that Aaron Rodgers has had. Unless he knows something that the rest of us don't know, why does Rex Ryan just out of the sheer blue feels like he's going to be the one for the job when supposedly also with the Bears, they were in line to talk also with Brian Flores because they thought that Brian Flores would be a good hire.
By the way, that's a great job by you, Angel. We should mention Brian Flores. There's the other guy. Now, he's got the racism lawsuit also, which is he and Gruden are in the similar boat.
Right.
Here's a good tip in life, guys. If you're trying to get a job, don't be suing your potential employer. But Flores is a really good coach. I don't think there's any other. Well, Deborah gets paid to love me, so there you go. It's her job. But we love her back. Thank you, Deborah. These guys got me pissed off tonight with this. I don't even like Jared Goff, and he got me defending Jared Goff. If they do lose, he'll be a reason why they lose because I don't think he's a special talent. But their team's loaded. He's this generation's Troy Aikman. If the team's really good around him, he's fine. If they're not, he's not. Like what Joe Burrow's done and Josh Allen and some of these other guys, where they go to shitty teams. And I know the Lions were bad when he got there. They started to build their team up the minute Dan Campbell got here, and he's a good player. But I mean, you got me screaming about Goff for Christ's sake, so I don't like. Or I just don't like as a player. I think he makes too many mistakes for the level of talent he is. He makes I hate quarterbacks that make mental mistakes. No, I mean we'll see. But no, Flores is a good hire. Mickey loves me too. What is this? Everybody loves me tonight. What did I do wrong? Angel, you love me. That's what's important. But at least you love me when I show up every night on time. No, and I'll be on with Pete tomorrow in the morning too. The Rex Ryan thing, again, they just fired Rex Ryan, Robert Saleh.
Right.
He's a defensive guy. So again, but we're talking about the Jets. So like the Jets couldn't find smell on a skunk. So so it's like So I don't know. I really, why in God's green earth would you want to be the coach of the Jets if you're Rex Ryan? How much money does he make from ESPN? And he's
Hey,
undefeated on ESPN. He never loses.
correct. And to me,
So
if I have a cushy job at ESPN, and he's done I think he's done a good enough
oh,
job
he's
on
good on TV.
ESPN.
He's good on TV.
Yeah, so why not stay there? Like, why would you want to take on the stress all over again and decide you want to become a head coach? And there's nothing that's hypothetically, as I love to use it, is that he decides to go to New York. There is nothing guaranteed to say that you'll be there past year one, meaning after 2025 season. Why bother? On top of that, organization has more issues than just a head coach and the GM. So if you're gonna, so the only reason I guess Rex Ryan thinks because if Louis Riddick becomes the general manager, Rex Ryan feels because they're teammates at ESPN, they'll be teammates on the gridiron. And I don't see that. I think if anything, the Jets are going to be looking for someone other than Rex Ryan, but he put it out earlier today that he
Mm.
feels like the job is his. Aaron Rodgers, at the same time, I don't think if the Jets were smart, would bring him back. Period.
Well,
With
you just said
everything,
the important part, Angel, out loud. If the Jets were smart,
right? If
that's what like saying if a one-legged man was in an ass kicking contest. It's not gonna happen. I mean, you like that visual one-legged man in an ass kicking contest. His margin for error is very small.
it
He gets
sure
one
is.
kick, and then when he falls on his ass. By the way, that's another one of my sayings. That's one of my coaches said to me once when I was did something stupid. So the other one is you couldn't play dead in the Western Flannelly. So there you go. That's another one.
Yeah,
So
that's a good one, but you got to figure. And this one, there's no reason why. Aaron knows he's done. He knows he's done. You're not going to come back. And there's, I'm sorry, you're 30 other teams. The Jets, again, if they're smart, they want to bring them back. You're already done with Green Bay, so you have 30 teams left. Out of 30 teams, I don't see any of them reaching out for your services. You're turning 40. Tom Brady at 40 was much healthier than Aaron Rodgers at 40. And the mental capacity was a lot better with Tom Brady. And
wait
Derek
a minute.
Carr,
Time out. Angel. Wait a minute.
yeah.
We have breaking news here, Beav. My boss and cohort producer extraordinaire, Angel Martinez, is breaking news that Tom Brady is smarter than Aaron Rodgers. That was like, yeah. In other related news, smoking is bad for you. So there you go. So I know. I listen. It's one of those things I heard forever, and this went on for a lot of Tom's career. This guy was going to be the next Tom Brady. This guy was going to do this. This guy was going to do good as Tom Brady. It was Big Ben was one of the one, and then Big Ben became very, very Big Ben and looked like he could play nose guard for the Steelers. And ate his way out of the league. Aaron Rodgers, who I just never took seriously. Just something about him, and we figured out why over the years. But he just is a weird guy. Who's another one? Obviously Mahomes now. But it was like every one of these guys, it was never like a Cam Newton or a Matt Ryan because they couldn't overcome bad organizations
Right.
or bad, what's the word I'm looking for? History within their own teams. That's kind of what Burrows had to deal with on the Bengals, even though they've been in the Super Bowl with three quarterbacks, which is pretty amazing when you think about their team. And they had good teams too with Andy Dalton and Carson Palmer too. So we'll see. But I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, Angel.
I just, again, I don't
Ask me
see,
about my Mike Evans shirt.
yeah,
Yeah,
someone said you need a bigger Mayfield shirt. Who was that said that? Beav needs oh, that was Duncan
oh,
Dash.
I think it was Duncan Dad.
Yeah.
I love. Listen, I wasn't a Baker guy. My business partner Kathy, her son is a huge Oklahoma fan. They're both Baker fans. That throw he made to win the game was unbelievable. The touchdown to McMillan in the corner of the end zone. What a great comeback by their team.
Yeah.
And man, what a dirty, goonish, thuggish type cheap shot team the Saints are. Oh my God. I mean, I had no idea about it until Tommy got there, and the Lattimore, Mike Evans stuff, which is funny because Lattimore is now on the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
So you know they're going to put him out there to try to get Mike to flip out and beat his ass again, get kicked out of the game. So Mike's gonna be ready for that Sunday night. That's gonna happen. You know, like every time the Saints top corner was Marshawn Lattimore from, of course, the bastion of finer education, Ohio State, was playing over Mike Evans all the time. They get in the fights a lot. The most famous one were the two of them. He went after Jameis Winston, and Mike beat him up for that. And then he went after Tommy a couple of years ago, and Mike beat him up, got suspended. So that's something. Mike Evans, if you don't know, is like the nicest guy. So for him to go after Lattimore, and this will go on all the time. So it's going to be really interesting. But that's the whole Saints team is like that, where it's just cheap hits, dirty plays. Baker had one yesterday in the game where he was going to slide, and there were a couple other ones too. It was just a penalty fest, and that's the way the Saints play. The Saints want to take you into the swamp, and they usually have a good defense. They got a lot of players. Demario Davis and Cam Jordan are really good, like Hall of Fame level players. But man, they're dirty and they're cheap and they're late hits, dirty plays all the time. It's really bad.
Yeah. Yep, I say so. But again,
well, it goes back to the bounty thing too. But I'm talking about the recent era. When Tommy was there, Lattimore and all those guys, but just dirty. They injured Chris Godwin with a dirty hit a couple years ago and broke his knee.
You're looking at Christ, Peyton.
Hey Rick, thanks for supporting Tom when he won your Super Bowl. If you hung around for a little while longer, he did that 6 other times too.
Yeah.
I love people that are fans only of guys who win things.
Yeah, he said it.
That Barry Sanders guy was a real fucking bomb. I couldn't have supported him. O.J. Simpson's another one. He was a bum. Earl Campbell. There's a whole bunch of guys. Jim Kelly and Dan Marino. They were bums. You know the difference between Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, and John Elway is? Terrell Davis!
I don't think there was a lot of people that Brady. Matter of fact, speaking of it, as Rick just brought it up, I've enjoyed Tom Brady this year behind the broadcast booth. I really thought he's done a really good job.
And Rick, I'm messing with you about Tommy. Relax, you're good.
No, but the one thing I do
like Tampa fans, I'm like, oh my god, this Brady guy's good. No way, really? Yeah, go ahead, Angel. Go ahead.
But the one thing that I liked yesterday, because he knows how to ask obviously the question to a quarterback when he posted the one to Baker Mayfield, because it's Tom brings it the way that he would love the question being posted towards him. So
great point by you, Angel. Thank you. Good job.
No, you're welcome. So to me, with Baker, he did a really good job yesterday, kind of bringing out the insights of what he wanted to know. He basically get inside Baker's head to see where he wanted to be, and he's
played that defense too. He's played that defense too, Thomas.
Yeah, but you figured he's really still enjoyed. You can tell he still enjoys coming back to Tampa because he's well loved in Tampa. Everybody knows it, even after he was done with the Patriots. But he really has appreciated Baker Mayfield and trying to see how Baker has gotten better, even without Dave Canales, who obviously resurrected his career. Todd Bowles helped it out just a little bit more this year, but it still leaves a question of what will Tampa Bay do with Baker Mayfield? Because again, at one point my opinion, what the heck do I know? To me, you give him 2 more years while you still find a quarterback that's going to be in the future, because a quarterback in the stock in the draft class for this year, all of them are going to be gone early. And there's no late round surprises like a Brock Purdy or a Tom Brady. There's none of that coming up. The following season, you also really don't have a loaded house of quarterbacks coming up.
Drew Aller, Penn State.
Yeah, but you're between this year, last year, you're looking at the quarterback stage along with wide receivers. And,
it's way off. You're right. You're 100% correct. Yes.
Yeah. So to me, you're looking at Baker Mayfield for at least another 2 years, maybe an option for a 3rd year is the way I would end up seeing it. But again, they also have to figure out what they're going to do with Mike Evans and with Chris Godwin.
That's the easiest thing in the world. They're going to let Godwin go.
Yeah. Which it stinks, but that's just the way it is. I know Penguin AZ had put a couple comments.
Also stinks that his legs fallen off twice in 3 years.
Yeah.
Just the
Penguins,
reality of the business. People get hurt, unfortunately.
they do.
How do you
Penguins,
think Tom ended up on the Bucks? The Patriots fired him. Happens to everybody sooner or later.
I, I, I mean, listen, I'm
Wait, how the
glad.
Patriots doing since that happened?
No, yeah, well, terribly. But at the same time, I, yeah, it's again, you wonder if, and I know that Gruden didn't want him with the Raiders.
Oh,
Would, would he have stayed playing longer? But I don't think he would have had the success what he had in Tampa when out in Las Vegas. But to me, it got to the point, and again, life happens. We understand he got divorced.
of
That might
of
have been a
course.
play, a part of it. But
It's a
nonetheless,
small part of it, of course. Yep.
yeah. But he's still well loved here in Tampa. Everybody knows it. I just thought the question he posted yesterday, Baker Mayfield, was I thought it was really good. Again, because he being a former quarterback, he wants to know where Baker Mayfield is, and then obviously again, the Glacier family has just tons of questions that are going
Sure.
to be asked about, and
You,
then
Angel, you talking about the when he gave him the LFG trophy after the game?
yeah,
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
yep.
No, no, you're asking if Tommy would have played longer if he was in Vegas. I think, and here's an underrated part that I don't think people understand about Tommy's longevity and going to Tampa and everything. In the second half of his career, he started working with Alex Guerrero, who became his, mind, body, and throwing coach and all that stuff. But what Tommy playing in the cold weather for much of his career, including his time here at Michigan, and then going to Tampa in the warmer weather and better weather, I think revitalize your career and helps you heal better and all that. I mean, Pete could talk about this a lot too, because obviously he did what Tommy did. He lived up in New England most of his life and moved down to Florida. I haven't done it because I'm in Michigan,
Right.
but I think Tommy would tell you being in the warmer weather with the better climate helped extend his career. I don't know how much it would have done in Vegas. And also, I'm not sure Vegas had a good enough offensive line to hold up with Tommy. That's the number one thing any quarterback needs. Quarterback needs best friend is an offensive line, a running game, and a defense. Most good quarterbacks can figure out receivers. So we'll see, but we'll know.
Uh, Duncan Dad says Eagles win with or without Hurts. Lions not going to the Super Bowl. Vikings suck. Broncos will give Bills a good game. And then you have Penguin AZ. Good evening, my hermano. As he, I guess I don't know. Maybe he was talking about Tom there. I have not a clue. And then Duncan Dad says, "Snow all day here. I'm not a grumpy old man. I'm a frustrated, lifelong Philly fan." So are a lot of us, Duncan Dad. A lot of us.
You guys just won the Super Bowl in like the last 5 years. Talk about yourselves like you're the Bills or the Lions or the Browns, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, but look how long it took us. 52 years just to get to the
How
first
long
one.
did it take the Vikings to win a Super Bowl, Angel?
That's a
How long did
Vikings.
it take the Bills, the Browns, and a bunch of these other teams? There's like, aren't there like 7 teams in the current NFL structure that never won the Super Bowl?
Yeah. But again,
Okay.
that's a Vikings problem. Vikings could almost.
By the way, not only did the Browns not win the Super Bowl, their former franchise, they're moved and then won the Super Bowl within like 2 years
Yep.
with the
Sure
Ray,
did.
the Ray Lewis and Ogden team.
And now they're thinking about you figure so Cleveland got a new stadium
By
when they
the
brought
way,
them
with
back.
a future Hall of Fame Browns player running the team in Ozzie Newsome.
True.
Be the equivalent of Reggie White moving the Eagles to Green Bay, then winning the Super Bowl like he did with Green Bay, and then the Eagles being the Green Bay Packers. Like what I just did there. The Eagles moved to Green Bay. If Philly doesn't have a team for like 2 years, Reggie White leads the Eagles. I mean, the former Eagles Packers team combo. They win the Super Bowl, and then you have an expansion team replace the old Eagles, and they suck for 30 years. That's what happened to the Browns. The Bills, 4 Super Bowls in a row. O.J. Simpson, Joe Ferguson. I mentioned the Browns. Brian Sipe, Bernie Kosar. The Vikings, all those Fran Tarkenton teams, and Chris Carter and Randy Moss, and the teams have had recently. Who else hasn't won in forever? The Cardinals are kind of a Mickey Mouse team. They haven't won. The Jaguars, the Panthers, the Texans. Somehow the Chicago Bears won a Super Bowl, and they're one of the shittiest organizations in the history of the league. Look it up. They're worse than the Lions historically, if you really pay attention. No, I mean we'll see. Well, the Jets won early, and that's why Namath is Namath. Um, never in a million years that I think the Patriots would become what they did, but they also lucked out with Tommy and Bill, and before Kraft lost his mind. But no, it's interesting. Yeah, there's not that many teams that haven't won. I mean, it's and obviously I mentioned the Lions, so there you go. But that's one of the cool things about this year. There's a lot of historical teams that have never won that are in a position to win, and the Eagles are not going to win the Super Bowl. Sorry, Angel. No, not the you don't even think they're going to win.
Correct. So
Yeah,
nothing to be sorry about because I don't think they're going to win it either. I
they
mean,
might not win this week. I mean, I don't even like Jordan Love, but they could lose that game very easily.
they could. I don't. It will be a tough game. I will say that much. It's not going to be a walk in the park. I don't think anybody thinks it's going to be a walk in the park. It's going to be a tough game. I think they do pass Green Bay. I believe not by much, but I think they do. When you get to the divisional round, you're depending on who's won in the seeding. And again, as you mentioned, when it comes to Tampa Bay, no one knows. But to me, I've been saying it since the beginning part earlier on. And you and I have been together all season long, and it's been to the point where I've
Love
said,
the Bucks.
yeah,
They're dangerous. They're dangerous. They can score on anybody.
Yeah.
So passing and throwing league. Why did the Chiefs win? They won because they outscore people. Didn't they beat you guys like 45-42 in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, and then they gave.
Sorry to bring it up. You got me a couple years before, so. But no, I mean it's you need to have a functional defense. But the days of the '85 Bears and kind of what the Patriots did in the early era teams, the 01 through 04 era, there's not that many. Like the Ravens '99 team that couldn't win today. The way they played with Trent Dilfer and hand the ball off and Ray and friends will make some plays. That doesn't happen. Even the Ed Reed Ray Lewis team, they won with the kickoff return and a lot of weird plays in the Kaepernick Flacco Super Bowl. There's the 20-17 game really doesn't happen. And yes, I do remember the 07 game. That was kind of an outlier. And listen, if the Giants want to play the Patriots again in a rematch, I think that wouldn't work out very well for them. But hey, they won the day they did. They just like they drew it up. David Tyree off his helmet.
Well, maybe if
my therapist is a multimillionaire because of that fucking game, Angel. But continue. Go ahead.
Well, maybe if maybe you could convince some of the fans if they would buy some coffee from freshroastedcoffee.com and put in the code MAC20, maybe they would feel a little oomph in their pep in their step and not only get yourself some regular coffee, some dark roast, maybe some decaf. But as long as you use the code MAC20, you guys go to freshroastedcoffee.com, pick yourself up a nice bag, a fresh bag of beans, bring it home, put it in your wood. And by the way, speaking of, my awesome neighbor from next door gave me and myself and my wife the coffee grinder. And usually when you put them in, you put the beans in there, it's like a sound that can be heard for miles. I don't know exactly where he got this one from. It is beyond whisper quiet. The only time you hear the noise is when the beans hit the original plastic up top. Other than that, I don't know where he got it from. Man, I think it's whisper quiet. So I put in a nice fresh bag of roasted coffee in there, and I put in my discount code MAC20 and got myself some nice coffee. I know Dunkin' Dad, he may not do it because I know he favors Dunkin' Donuts. But if you guys want to go freshroastedcoffee.com, you can also go on the website, right on the homepage, or under the Martinez Company tab. Click on the Fresh Roast Coffee link and then get yourself 20% off your next fresh roasted coffee. So, and also, speaking of, because Tampa Joe's was a lot of fun yesterday, you guys want great food, a fun atmosphere, and awesome drinks, visit Tampa Joe's at tampajoes.com, 9316 Anderson Road in beautiful Tampa, Florida, where you guys can basically, when you're coming in or you're leaving out of Tampa, you fly right on over for Tampa Joe's. That's why I always say it's a hop, skip, and a jump over from the airport, right off of Veterans Highway, and not that far off from Linebaugh as well. TampaJoes.com. Good food, awesome folks, and just a great time in general. So we got a couple more minutes here to play with before we end up the show. Don't forget that tonight after Beav's World, Lloyd Vance's Insider Football with Lloyd Vance and Kevin Midget. That will run from 8 to 9:15. And then starting your morning off all over again will be the Pete Shepard Show tomorrow morning, which he did tell me, and I will let you guys know now that I'm thinking about it, his guest lineup for tomorrow. He will have Mick Colagio on at 9:05, and of course, Beav himself will be on at 8:30. And then on Wednesday, it'll be Bill Sparrows at 8 a.m., Chris Price at 8:30, and Mia O'Brien, as she will get into, I'm quite sure, Jags talk. Speaking of,
Explain how the hell Trent Baalke still has a job.
It got me, but you know what? I missed. Did you happen to catch? Only because I obviously from one show to the other, I ended up missing out. But did you happen to catch the presser by the Patriots today at 1:00?
Unfortunately, yes. I wasted 20 minutes of my day. Yes.
Was it intriguing?
Well, you're asking me to comment on somebody I don't have a lot of respect for.
All right.
But I think for the most part, he did a good job. He said this was my fault. And I said draw it up to fail, which is all correct. But his explanation on what happened yesterday is what I said earlier, is the reason why he shouldn't be the owner of the team anymore.
Right.
Because of your ineptitude, if you're going to fire the guy in the middle of the week or fire him before the game. Okay. So you assure you lose the game. Instead, he's got Joe Milton out there. They're playing hard. The few players left on the team who liked the guy played hard. So they screwed themselves. And, of course, the Bills are complicit in this. They didn't want the Patriots to win. It hurts. The Bills know the Bills losing the game hurts the Patriots. And they've been beating them like a bag for 20 years, 25, 30 years, going back to when Bledsoe was playing. So, so why not? But, yeah, it is, again, I don't like the Patriots ownership, and I don't respect them a lot. And there's very numerous reasons. It's not just Tom stuff; it's other stuff. I think they're cheap. I don't think they value their fans, and I think they're blamers. And I just don't respect these people. People mocked the Lions for years. They brought in Mrs. Ford took over when her dad died, and her mother's kind of older, so she let Sheila take it over. And, one of the cool things she did in Dan's second year, they were like 2-11, and she had a big press conference and backed the team. And since then, the Lions are like the best team in the league. So I think ownership, it always starts, the fish rots from the head, Angel. And Kraft can go up there and scream and holler and promise and all this and all that. He's getting ready to hire Mike Vrabel. That's who they should have hired last year. Day late and $1 short. That's the New England Patriots new logo. Couldn't tell shit from Shinola. That's the Patriots. And it goes back to when Tommy was here. They screwed up drafts for years. That's why their team is bad. Most of the good teams in the league, their star players like 23 to 28, 29 years old because they're guys on second contracts. Find guys on the Patriots now on their second contracts. There's nobody. The N'Keal Harry picks and all these other bad draft picks they made. I was laughing at this weekend that Bailey Zappi was starting a game in the NFL. The Patriots drafted that clown. There's an example of a guy who couldn't play dead in the Western, Bailey Zappi. They drafted 2 kickers and punters in the draft last year when they had no offensive line. I could keep going on and on. Juju Smith-Schuster couldn't play when he was on the Patriots. He goes to the Chiefs. He looks like fucking Randy Moss. Another one, Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith couldn't play. He's going to make like second team All-Pro this year. Robert Kraft likes a happy ending. Good. You should just sell the team. But it's just, I was a big Gerard Mayo fan when he was playing. I think he's a good person, but he should have known better to trust these people who run this team. They're idiots. They ran. Look what they did to Bill and Tom. What the hell makes you think they're going to be good to you? Those guys won 6 Super Bowls. Look what they did with what they made. They did to the Dynasty documentary. That became a personal hit piece on Kraft taking out Belichick, and I'm in that fucking thing. So it is what it is. But I just don't have a lot of respect for those people. I get too much time on my hands to do other things. I'd rather talk to you, Angel, and and talk about the Lions and make fun of your Eagles. No, I'm kidding. And all the other make fun of Jerry Jones and the Jets. But talk about other teams and college football and other things because I just don't respect that team. I just don't. I'm sorry. And that's why they are what they are. The people who masked a lot of zits aren't there. Claricel and OxyContin, or not OxyContin. I'm sorry. Benzoyl peroxide are gone. There you go. There you go. I got my medicines right.
So you got to figure at this point, the Patriots are going back to the Patriots of yesteryear before anyone knew
Oh,
that
the
they were.
Patriots of my youth. Yes.
Yeah,
The
that's what they're going
Patriots
back to.
missiles. There you go. Yes.
But who's to say though? I mean, I know everybody's hooked on as far as, and well, not everybody, because I'm pretty sure the Patriots are. But who's to say that someone does not steal Mike Vrabel from both the Jets and the
By the
Patriots?
way, timeout. Timeout. Duncan Dad. My preseason Super Bowl pick with the Buffalo Bills and Green Bay Packers.
Sure was.
So just go that.
Sure was.
Oh, and I think I did that live on there. Angel just asked me out of the blue, and that's what I picked. So I didn't pick the Lions to win the Super Bowl. So please don't misquote me.
Yeah. No.
You think my hair's gone now? Misquote me again, it'll be really gone.
I can no, I can attest to for sure that you didn't pick the Lions at all for the Super Bowl. But
No, I thought they were gonna have a good team.
I thought so. I mean,
I also really liked the who's the other I like the Jets. That should show you how much brain damage. See what drinking and drugs do to you kids. I picked the Jets. So yeah. And by the way, Pete tried to talk me out of that and mocked me.
sure
And
did.
Angel just sat there and sat in the back and just let him beat on me.
Yep.
So it was pretty funny. Yeah.
I didn't say a word. I did not want the Jets whatsoever. I knew that was going to be a travesty of a train wreck all friggin' season long.
Oh, so there's the lesson. Here's the lesson that I will tell you all. And I've said this to Angel and Pete both a million times because I based that on watching preseason and a lot of other stuff as far as coverage of the team, very much like the Nebraska football team this year, which they look good in training camp. And then when the bullets start flying, they sucked. So don't overvalue preseason and all that. Because remember, it's a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
So just remember that. Very important. That's the Jay Flannelly lesson of the day. Brought to you by Monster Energy Drink. There you go. I just did it. So but no, it was just I completely whiffed on those.
Well,
Just like I'm the same idiot who thought Ryan Leaf was going to be really good and Peyton Manning was going to suck. I was a little off on that.
What happened to my camera?
But hey, I thought Tom Brady was good. Okay, I got that one right. So, and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, I liked a lot coming out of college.
So, Beav, can you still see me? Because I don't see myself here.
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah, you're frozen. You're frozen. Your screen's frozen.
All right, hold on.
My ugly ass is still moving.
Yeah. Let me do a quick refresh. Hang on.
You're staring at me in amazement. You're like, wow, this guy's incredible. So, no, you're coming back. I'm seeing you. You're offline right now.
All right, let's see. Oh, there I am. I'm back. Okay. I don't know what happened. Maybe
there he is.
Who the heck knows?
Freeze frame.
Yeah.
Freeze frame.
It's just it happens from time to time. It happens, but it doesn't matter. No, what was the what the hell was the one we were talking about? It was like the Bears. That's what I started mentioning. When people thought the Bears went 3-0 during the preseason and thought, oh, everything's going to be good.
That's another one. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that work out for them?
Because they had a good team with Justin Fields, and a lot of people thought with Caleb coming in and keeping the coach, they kept Eberflus, that they would just come in and be good. They added Keenan Allen and Roma Duze, and they already had DJ Moore. So they thought they would have a good team. And I was kind of in that boat too. But it's real obvious. It's very hard when you're a rookie quarterback. And I know about Jaden Daniels. He might be an outlier, folks. I'm going to go on a limb. And, interesting to see, what happens with the team. But we'll see here.
Is anybody believing, speaking about Jane Daniels, is anyone believing that the Commanders are going to Tampa and win?
Is Baker Mayfield going to be there and playing quarterback?
Sure is.
Okay, so guess what? That's not highly probable going to happen.
I think Baker
Now I
Mayfield.
think the Buccaneers can beat any team in the league when they're playing good. Because they're that good offensively. There's that historic. I mean, did they completed 70% of their passes and they averaged 5 yards a carry for the first time in the history of the league.
Yeah,
I mean, the league's been around a long time, Angel. That's a pretty good stat.
sure is.
So they're elite in running the ball and passing the ball.
Yep, sure is.
So, and they don't exactly have, 17 first-round draft picks on that team playing. Baker and Mike Evans and Wirfs are all high draft picks. And the rest of the guys, I mean, where was Bucky Irving drafted? Where's Rashard White drafted? Where was McMillan drafted? The tight ends, Kate Otten and a couple of the other guys. But, I mean, they don't have a lot of first-round draft picks on that offense. And it shows how good Liam Cohen's been and Dave Canales. I mean, again, I think Dan's going to win the Coach of the Year. And if he doesn't, Kevin O'Connell will. But anybody notice that Dave Canales won 5 games with the Carolina Panthers? For valuable prizes, name 2 players on their team.
Bryce Young and Bryce Young. Bryce Young and the redheaded.
You say Bryce Young and young Bryce. That's because nobody knows, nobody watched. They won 5 games with that team.
Yep,
and they eliminated those frauds, the Falcons, yesterday.
We had some breaking news here from the NFL. Justin, the Colts have fired defensive coordinator Gus Bradley after 3 seasons. Is it shocking? No.
They fired Gus Bradley.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You know what got him fired 2 weeks ago? The Giants game.
Yep.
Where they just didn't even compete, and that was bad. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. I don't take the Colts seriously. You know why? Anthony Richardson's in their building.
Correct.
He can't be there. He can't be in their building anymore.
Right.
Can't be in their building anymore. There's mistakes to the youth, whatever you want to call it. You can't have him on a team. This back spasm stuff's coming up. I mean, quitting, not knowing what he's doing. It's just there's too many things going on. Overdrafted, overvaluated, and just not a good fit. They need to move off him.
I think so. And the Colts have a ton of problems. And I know they decided to keep their head coach. They decided to keep the OC. Whatever. But to me, they got a lot of problems. Colts are going to have to be in rebuild mode probably for the next 5 years if they don't get their act together. And again, Indy fans, the same way. You guys pay a lot of money to go to these games, and in the end, same results. So I don't know how many times.
What's the path for the Colts to get good again? Because they have Pittman, Taylor, DeForest Buckner, excuse me, Quentin Nelson. They have some really high-end players. They don't have a very good middle class of their team. So what do they do? So how do you get better? You probably trade. Would they trade Jonathan Taylor?
Maybe.
Because up until this season, we all heard running backs were a dime a dozen. And then Saquon and King Henry and Jacobs all had big years. And, it's interesting. That's the thing. That's one of the things I always talk about, Angel. And because so many of the teams are now eliminated. I think there's 18 teams because 14 teams made the plus. There's 18 teams that ended their season. And I run into people all the time, all around town or online, and they ask me, Jay, how do we evaluate our team in the offseason? I said, real simple. Because free agency happens before the draft. But after the Super Bowl, get a piece of paper, pad of paper, write it down, or on your computer, type it in. Write down 5 or 6 things you think your team needs. Like, just use, if you were doing the Patriots, say everything except quarterback and kicker. That was supposed to be funny, Angel. Also write in owner. And then when you go sign things, check it off. It's like a checklist. Like when you go shopping at the supermarket.
Right.
So that's how you can tell. They add things to the weaknesses of your team. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be right on everything, because I mentioned the Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning thing. And the amazing thing about that story, it's all revisionist history now. It was easily 50-50, if not higher, for one of those guys. And I was in the group that liked Leaf better. And there were a lot of people like Ryan Leaf better than Peyton Manning. So, Rick Maher, Drew Bledsoe was another one. There's always going to be fallbacks. If you redid this draft, there's no way in hell that Caleb would go on. He'd probably go third after Drake May and Jaden Daniels, and maybe even Bo Nix. So, but you're always going to look at things and how things get evaluated. 3 of the greatest football players of all time, Walter Payton, Tom Brady, and Jerry Rice, got devalued because of their combine, and they didn't run fast, and their clock wasn't good. And I mean, do you ever watch football players? Ray Lewis and Ed Reed were like that too, by the way.
Yep.
So nobody's Lawrence Taylor, where he shows up and goes, "Okay, he's pretty good. Yep, that might be it. Yep, he's good." You don't need him. You don't need to watch him again. The Randy Mosses and the Lawrence Taylor types just don't. Going on a limb, I think the evaluation of King Henry wasn't really hard. Yeah, he's 250 pounds and he runs about a 4.5 40. Okay, yeah, we might give him the ball 30 times. I mean, that really wasn't hard. But the Aaron Donald guys who perform their outlier of what their ability and skills are. It's like one of the funny ones is we've all had the Cooper Kupp experience. You watch this guy. How the hell does he get open every time? Well, he just does. Certain people are good at their sport. It's how does Eddie Van Halen play the guitar the way he did? He's Eddie Van Halen. Guy never had a guitar lesson in his life. He just picked up a guitar and started playing. It was reversed. He was a drummer. His brother was a guitar player. He literally just picked up a guitar and taught himself. That's how he became Eddie Van Halen. It's just the way life is, Yep. I'm sure there's some idiot when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was 12 years old and say, "Hey, Kareem, don't do that skyhook shit anymore. That doesn't work. Don't do that." And he did. He did it. Bobby Orr, defenseman, rushing up the ice. Why are you doing that? He's Bobby Orr, because defensemen didn't do it before Bobby Orr did it. Everybody's different.
They are.
We all bring our gifts and our abilities to the table.
That we do.
I bring hair tips and things like that.
It's always great when it made me laugh because from childhood I don't care what barber you go to, it always makes you laugh when you have the bald guy that comes in and he always stares at everybody. Usually, now I will say because of their beard, then they'll go and get their
I'd like to point out, Angel, I am bald by choice.
No.
If you believe that, I got some land in Afghanistan I want to sell you, but you continue. Go ahead.
The one thing that makes me laugh is when they show up at the barbershop and they just kind of look around at everybody and say, "Yeah, the last time I was here, this happened." And it's probably like the oldest joke, but it makes you laugh every single time. But obviously their beards, especially down here in Florida, a lot of guys, because they want to, end up shaving their heads, but they'll keep the beard on their face. To me, I would be scorching with a full beard. Now, because it's going to get cooler.
Okay, so let me explain. I usually do shave every other day. With the crazy weekend, I just didn't shave. I will be clean shaven and ready to go for Pete in the morning. Just remember that. So you can kill me. If I come on looking like Santa Claus again, you can make fun of me.
All right.
And by the way, I can grow a beard in 2 days. And I can't grow anything up here. Now, I can do it on the side. I'm not Kojak. I got to shave it all off. But up top, nothing. Side, I have hair. Right. I look like the guy from The Office.
Yeah. Pardon me.
There you go.
Gracious. Duncan Des says that's me walking into the barber. My Vietnamese stylist likes to keep it high and tight. Oh yeah, no.
Especially love you long time. I mean, really, come on, Duncan.
No, listen. But he is. There's a lot of Vietnamese people in Philly that they do have some barbershop. The one down in South Philly, $5 guaranteed every time. And I used to get my
how much? How much?
$5.
$5. That can't get you a donut in some places.
No, I used to get it right down the street from where I lived. I was down there at 4th and Snyder, over on 3rd and Snyder. What happened?
So Duncan Dad, I love Telly Savalas. By the way, the most underrated thing he's in, Cannonball Run 2. Go watch that. He's the mob boss. It's
Yeah,
hilarious. He steals the movie. He's awesome. I love Telly Savalas. Oh,
the
he's so awesome.
Penguin he sees
Another
it.
guy who smoked himself to death. Cigarettes killed him.
Sure did. He
Yeah.
did. Great
There were a
actor.
lot
But
of
yeah, he
guys. A
did.
lot of the guys of our youth. I mean, John Wayne, Steve McQueen,
Yeah.
and obviously Telly Savalas or others. But those are the three of the bigger ones. Never understood people who smoke.
Me either. But that's unfortunate. It's what they end up doing.
Oh, you know what, Duncan? Dad, great point. In Captain Chaos, dun dun
Yeah.
dun, and a moron. Don't
There-
talk to me about him. Uh, uh, no, I love Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds is an underrated talent because he's a guy who could take a shit sandwich and make it into more sirloin. And that's what he did a lot with the Smoking the Bandit movies, which is an underrated contributor to society. Because let me explain to you. Whether you like it or not, the reason why the Dukes of Hazzard happened on TV was Smoking the Bandit.
Yeah.
Because they copied that. That's how society works. So you're going to see all these cowboy movies and shows coming out because of Yellowstone
Mhm.
now in society. And we had that with Game of Thrones and other things. Yep. Dom DeLuise, baby. Captain Chaos. Dun, dun, dun.
He was great. And
And
not to
an
mention,
underrated
Jerry Reed,
guy,
another
and
one.
that was my man, Roger Moore. Roger Moore in the Cannonball Run movies was great.
He was.
Roger Moore and I have the same really important talent. We don't take ourselves very seriously. So he's making fun of himself in the movies. It's pretty funny. And obviously, Farrah Fawcett wasn't bad either to have in the movie.
Who was
Could
the
do
one
okay.
that? Who was the actor that he was? He had kind of like the cross-eyed, whatever it
The,
was.
the crazy eyes, the doctor who injected himself.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. He just died. Jack. Oh my God. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Oh,
Say Duncan.
oh my God. Jack something is the guy who died, but he's the doctor, the crazy doctor
Yeah,
in the
he
movie with the
he was
cross
freaking. He was
eye.
great in that movie.
Oh my
Absolutely
God,
fantastic.
he was.
Absolutely
And,
fantastic.
and, uh, and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr.
No, not Kevorkian, Duncan Dad. That's a whole different
Oh,
doctor.
see, such an idiot. But no, hold on, I'll look it up.
As Mickey says, you also look like a
I'm
conehead.
sure that the fans love that I'm doing this.
Goonies, another good one.
His name in the movie is Dr. Nicholas Van Helsing, which
That's what it
is
was.
he went to the university. His name is Jack Elam. I had it right. There you go, Jack Elam.
There you go.
He
Right,
went.
hey.
Remember, he went to the University of Rangoon. I remember that.
Yep.
That was one of his best lines.
It was such a great movie. It's never
So
some
the,
movies
the
are just
best part of that movie, gotta go watch the outtakes. The outtakes of the movie, because Burt Reynolds can get Dom DeLuise to laugh anytime he wants,
yeah, I did
and
see
it's
that.
so, do you know the Burt Reynolds trivia question answer? You know
To
who his
what?
college roommate was? You know who Burt Reynolds' college roommate was?
No.
You've watched him for 30 plus years. Now he went to Florida State, but it wasn't called Florida State at the time. Burt Reynolds' college roommate was Coach Lee Corso.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And Burt Reynolds
Wow.
was a really, really good running back and messed up his knee.
Huh.
True story.
I guess that's
Yep.
why he appeared in what is it, the whole 9 yards? No, what was it? Was it whole nine? What was the movie?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
no. Yeah,
no,
he did the remake. He
right.
did the remake with Adam Sandler. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and he just died recently. Burt Reynolds died recently. So,
yeah, I remember that.
but he got the acting school down by you guys in Florida.
Yep.
He's a huge Florida State guy. Remember, he got their kicker to come in about 30 years ago. Remember they lost with their kickers were bad. They lost to Miami a couple times, a couple of big games, and they brought in this big recruit kicker, and and Burt Reynolds and the kid on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I want to say Dan Mowry was that the kicker? I'm trying to remember the kid's name. But see, Angel, we all wish we could go to the University of Rangoon, like Dr. Nicholas Van Helsing from Cannonball Run.
Exactly. That'd be good. Or it could be like Uncle Rico, and then we can go to bring him back from Napoleon Dynamite. But nonetheless, we have come to the end of the show with some thanks to Duncan Dad at the very end of it when he decides to throw in some movie trivia in there. But listen, thanks you guys. Mickey, always good to hear from you. Obviously, Penguin MD.
Thank you. I said thanks. A lot of good feedback.
Yeah.
You only had me yelling at about half the people chiming in. And Deborah's back, which is always good. And Duncan Dad is probably on his 4th or 5th cup today. Penguin's in from AZ. That time change, but we'll be on tomorrow at 8:30.
Yep, 8:30 tomorrow morning, and then coming up right after us here is Lloyd Vance's Insider Football. So thank you guys all once again for tuning in. You're welcome, Beav.
Thanks to all the listeners and followers. Appreciate you. Be sure you retweet, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, promote. That's what we're doing. Angel and the boys are doing a lot of big things behind the scenes. Get behind them. Let's go, okay? LFG. Everybody have a good night.
Everybody, definitely have a good night. Appreciate everyone. We'll see you later.